Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Pressing Matters at On the Mic. Do subscribe to the channel, follow us on social media, and support us in making all of this content that we continue to put out for you. Today's episode is about the Champions League final, which Manchester City won 1-0 against Inter. And with me, I have a very special guest, Kareem Karai, one of Pakistan's best coaches, who is currently doing his A license, UEFA A license course, and has one of the leading football youth academies in Pakistan now. That's called Kareem Karai Academy. All the links are in the description below. If you have a kid or a nephew or a son or whatever in Karachi, I highly recommend that you go to his academy because you can't get better coaching anywhere else. KK, how's it going, man?
Man, after that kind of introduction, it's going great. But thank you so much for having me on again. And it's always a brilliant ego boost, the first 1 minute, and a very generous introduction.
No,
So
no, it's
thank you so
only
much.
facts, only facts. But anyway, let's get down to like कराची के best coaches हट के दुनिया के best coaches और उनकी बात करते हैं. And I think yeah, I think it's no escaping it. City have won their first Champions League. City have won their first treble. They are the second team to win the treble in England after Man United in 1999. So as Liverpool fans, it's like, come on, like double jeopardy ho gayi hai. First team to win the domestic treble and the big treble in England. It's the first team who have also like in a season won the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and then in another season they've won the Champions League, FA Cup, and Premier League. And Pep Guardiola is the first manager to win the treble twice. He's done it with Barca before, and now he's done it with City. But yeah, man, what were your thoughts on the match as it unfolded?
Yeah, I think incredible achievement, first of all. And, I think we're both huge fans of Pep, and the kind of impact he's had on the game has been phenomenal. In terms of the game, I think it was quite exciting, actually. I was not expecting it to be such a close game. I think most people were expecting City to steamroll Inter Milan and run away with it. But Inter Milan were in the game. And in the first half, actually, I felt Inter Milan were progressing through the thirds quite easily, getting into the final third of City. I think they were just lacking that quality of the final pass, the final decision, the final cutting edge to score a goal, which we all know is the difference between winning and losing at the top level. So it was actually exciting as a spectacle, and all the way till the 80th minute, 88th minute, I felt that Inter Milan could score and could get back in the game. Maybe it was my bias also kicking in, um, but yeah, I think it was a very good watch, and credit to Inter Milan. I think they made it difficult for City to play their free-flowing style. I think there were nerves as well in the City camp. They weren't as comfortable and free-flowing as they usually are. So I think the credit should go to Inter for that.
Yeah, for sure. I think on your last point, that there were nerves in the City camp. I remember 15, 20 minutes in City, not misplacing simple passes, but like, the weight isn't right or it's between two people, it's not going right. Rodri usually plays a pinpoint pass, and it's between two people, so one of them has to run and the flow has broken and everything, and the camera cuts to Guardiola and he's just like exasperated and telling them, relax, relax, what's the matter, relax. And he's trying to get them to calm down because they all already have this baggage of losing the final before and then losing in the Champions League and having all this pressure on them because Inter have nothing to lose. And it was just a party for them. And whereas City had all the burden in the world because everyone was gonna, bash them if they lost. But coming on onto the lineup and the system, I think a lot of people um, have this tendency to jump on Pep's back and call him an overthinker and stuff like that whenever something happens. And they've picked the right guy, man, because come on, this guy does some weird shit in every other match. So for this one, a lot of people were jumping on his back for dropping Kyle Walker. Apparently that became a big thing. I didn't understand it. What are your thoughts on that?
I felt it was not a big deal. I think it made sense why he didn't play Kyle Walker. Usually he plays Kyle Walker when he's threatened by the counterattack and especially with speed and pace in behind. And we saw that against Real Madrid when they had Vinicius, and you needed Kyle Walker to do a job there to defend against him, which he did superbly well. But you have to play the player depending on the opposition, depending on what the game needs, depending on what the game plan is. And in this particular case, it was quite clear that City assumed, number one, they would have more of the ball, which they usually do. And for that, I think Akanji is a much better player in possession with the ball. um, Kyle Walker isn't as technically, uh, I would say, cute and composed as the other
Yeah, the
defenders
the
of
the the
City.
the exact characteristics, playing a pass between the lines, switching plays, some stuff like that that you need from a center back who's on the ball.
Exactly. And the second point is that with Inter Milan, they had these strikers who prefer to hold the ball up, bring others into play, and then attack through the other side, the other wing back. So in that case, you don't have runners going beyond Kyle Walker. So you didn't really need to rely on his pace to defend and sort out those defensive situations. So for me, it was absolutely logical from that perspective. And to your point, how did the goal come about? It was actually Akanji who got on the ball, drove a little forward, played an amazing, delightful through ball to Bernardo Silva. He cuts it back, goal, right? So would Walker be able to play that kind of pass? Maybe.
He
I'm not
probably would
saying
have
no,
had a
but
shot because he likes a shot from long range.
probably not short, or he'd knock it forward 30 yards and start sprinting after the ball. No, but obviously a great player, Kyle Walker as well. But the qualities of Akanji were way more suited for what he was trying to do. So that's
Yeah.
the genius of Pep.
Yeah, another I don't know if we call it genius, but whatever, but he tweaked the system slightly for this match. Ever since I think the turn of the year, especially City have been playing a 3-2. I don't know what to call it, a 3-2-2-3 or something, with when they have like three defenders and John Stones pushes up into midfield with Rodri, and then you have like two players between the lines, which are usually Gundogan and Bernardo Silva. Oh, sorry, Kevin De Bruyne. And then on the wing you have Bernardo, then central Haaland, and then left you have Grealish. But in this match he tweaked it. He actually did a three diamond three, in which Rodri was the sole sitting midfielder. But Gundogan initially was the at the tip of the diamond, was the attacking midfielder. Kevin De Bruyne was on the left side of the diamond, and something that really amused me, John Stones was on the right side of the triangle, playing like in the right half space as an attacking midfielder of sorts. And yeah, he changed it. I think he played the same thing, not with the same personnel, but the same system against Chelsea in the Champions League final, the one they lost. And coincidentally or not, I think it's not a coincidence, but Chelsea also played a 5-3-2 in that match. And Inter also played a 5-3-2 in this match. And what do you think there's an advantage of playing a three diamond three against a 5-3-2 or something? What do you think are the advantages? Why do you think Pep tweaked this system for this particular match?
I think firstly, it de regardless of the formation or the structure, it depends how you play it and what the game plan is within that structure and formation. What I found interesting and amusing was that in fact they were what I took out of it was they were trying to find stones in that half space between the lines when they were moving the ball from left to right. So when it came back to Rodri would look, and his first look or the first priority is, can I try to break the lines and play into stones?
Yeah, a
Right
diagonal pass.
now, a diagonal pass. Now, I would say that despite City winning the game, there were quite a few occasions that I remember where Stones got the ball in the attacking areas in and around the box, and he wasn't as productive or effective as as let's say
Kevin De Bruyne.
of course De Bruyne is the best, or a Bernardo Silva or a Foden, because he's not, his skill set is not that to turn in the half space, thread balls through, shoot at goal, make an assist. Um, so the question then comes to, why did he persist with Stones playing as an attacking right midfielder, essentially right attacking midfielder? And for me, I think one of the reasons is that he feels that the success of City in the last year, this current season and the year before, comes down to having a 4 to 5 defenders who love to defend, who take responsibility to defend. And in fact, this is not just my perception. He said this in a lot of post-match interviews after the game, that the difference has been that we have these 4 defenders that love it, and he did that with his face, that, they're just like, they get that satisfaction, that aggression, that passion for defending. And let's be honest, guys, that's going out of the game, right?
Yeah.
You have all
And
these
it was
players.
never in a City team, and never in a Guardiola team. That's what it was missing.
Yes.
They always felt anxious without the ball. They always had this agitation of, panic stations whenever the opposition had the ball for longer periods, but that's changed this season.
Absolutely right. And I think that's changed because he knows he has such good defenders who are taking that authority and responsibility to defend. And so I think that's why he's gone with that tactic to still play Stones, let him play in an advanced area. But when they don't have the ball, then he has Stones, who's a fantastic defender, um, and they get that solidity in defense. So football is about risk reward. So yeah, he could have played Foden instead, but then there's always that khatra and that threat of conceding or not being solid defensively. So you can't have the best of everything. You got to make decisions.
Yeah, also in transitions, you were mentioning before that Inter wanted to play quickly to the strikers, to the front men, and then have others come into play and then attack from the other side, right? And I think in that scenario, someone like Stones, who likes to defend, who's actually really fast, by the way. I saw Stones run recently. He's actually quite fast. So you have someone there who A, likes to defend. His first inclination is, how do I get back in that center back position? And secondly, he's quick and he's agile and he's switched on tactically. Someone like that is really important in those scenarios, to get those second balls, to come back and come back and restore that structure, that defensive structure. Someone like Foden wouldn't be able to do that at all. And City would then just be a man light at the back. It would be a 3-1, and Inter are probably bombing on with 4 people as well. So a 4v4 is never a good look, you know what I mean? I mean, in transitions and stuff. So again, Guardiola, I think, is so petrified of transitions and conceding on the counter attack, even against a team that doesn't like to launch quick counter attacks. He's still thinking about that in his mind.
Ismail, and you're absolutely right about the counterattacks, the transition. But one thing I think we have to mention is also perhaps set pieces. So I think Inter Milan are probably were threatening. Actually, they were threatening, and not probably, they were threatening all the way to the last corner of the game where they almost scored. So I think Guardiola took probably that into consideration as well, to have Stones in there to deal with those set piece situations
Set
as well.
pieces and crosses, just generally open play crosses,
Crosses.
they were putting in quite. That was their main mode of attack, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like you brushed on this a little, Inter's performance and how they made it difficult for City. Um, do what's your take on them missing the chances, and especially Lukaku? The guys just can't catch a break. First the Belgium World Cup. I don't know what to call them,
Fiasco.
like blue, yeah, the fiasco. And then here he just, I don't know what happened, but do you think City deserved to win this match?
It's a tough one because at the end of the day, you have to take your chances, right? And whether you have one chance, whether you have 10 chances, if you put the ball at the back of the net, then one school of thought is, yeah, you deserve it.
Mourinho
Um,
school of thought.
yeah, but having said that, do feel that Inter deserve to at least take it to extra time. I think they did enough to warrant that. They had more attempts than City as well. Um, they played with a lot of courage, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. Tactically, they were good too. It was just what we spoke about in the start is that if there's just fine decisions or margins that were taken differently, the entire result could have been different. And again, Pep said this after the game that if Lukaku put headed that in, it's 1-1, and it's a fair 1-1. I don't think anyone can dispute that. And it goes to extra time, and who knows how it would have played out. Um, so I think one thing I'd like to say also, that now that I'm on the podcast, is that um, it's very easy to put uh, teams and managers into kind of boxes and just focus on the result of the game rather than analyzing the performance and then diving um, into the reality of what's actually happening and what actually happened. And I think this game was also a good example of that, where, like you said, City got the goal, right? But very easily Inter Milan could have also scored, and it could have been 1-1. Guardiola has got so much criticism for not winning the Champions League, but look at the little luck, the luck that he hasn't had, right? The VAR decisions, the the Sterling chance
Sterling
comes to
missing
mind.
open chance, yeah.
Yeah, that comes to mind, and fine margins
Last
comes to
season,
come,
Real
comes to mind.
Madrid, 2 minutes, two goals,
2 minutes,
crazy.
two goals,
But
boom,
just
right?
before
And
that, Grealish almost scores that, like, yeah. So it's crazy.
it's crazy, and I think that's what makes the Champions League so exciting, so tough to win. Um, so yeah, I think that's football. That's why we love it. That's why we watch it. But it's interesting that we judge coaches and teams in such a way, when they're these little 1 inch, or a shot that hits the post, and the entire narrative about that coach or about that team is different.
Yeah, for sure. I think everyone just focuses on the result and then uses the result to, I don't know, to map on their perception to whatever the process may have been. So if, for example, City would have lost against Real Madrid, they would have been like, oh, he made a mistake. He made a mistake doing this. He shouldn't have played John Stones in this game. If they had lost today, they would have said this system was a mistake. And if they win,
Yeah,
he's a genius. If they lose, he's an overthinker.
yeah, just to sum that up, Ismail, is that if Lukaku scored and Inter Milan went on to win, then he would have become an overthinker.
Of
That
course.
why was Stones playing there, and etc. 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 So there
It
you
was the
go.
same in the last final. They were like, "Oh, he's over. He overthought because he played a three diamond three. Why didn't he play Rodri? Why did he play Gundogan at the base of the midfield? Why this? Why that?" And it's all about the questions are asked not based on the thought process at the time of the decision. They are asked based on the result, which, as you know, is made up of so many factors and like little bits of things that you can't even control. But anyway, I think we need to have, sadly, this discussion a little bit at least. What is City's legacy now? Are they the greatest team England has seen, in at least since we know, in the last 30, 40 years?
I think the short answer is yes. I think what they've achieved, not just the treble, but 4 Premier League titles in 5 seasons,
5 and 6 years
five and 6 years. That is an
against
incredible
the
achievement.
best Liverpool team I've seen.
Absolutely. And so I think there is no doubt that they are one of the greatest teams that we've seen in the Premier League, perhaps in Europe as well. And we said that about Barcelona's team when they won the treble, and I think Pep has now created another fantastic side that is just admired all over the world, and not just the team but also the tactics, how he's brought these fullbacks to come inside, and this kind of revolution about how we see the game. And I think that's what his personal legacy, I think, is going to be in football, from the 4-3-3 of Barcelona to now these inverted fullbacks. So he's constantly um, upgrading the game, and developing it and making us see it in a different way. So yeah.
Yeah, he's up. He's influenced the jargon, the way that coaches operate, the way that football fans think. So like building out from the back and inverted fullbacks, whatever you want to call these fancy terms. These fancy terms have been put into the popular narrative or the popular sort of discussion because of Pep. Pep started with the playing out from the back. Pep is the one who put the inverter, who popularized all of this. Pep did the false nine popularization. I know all of this has happened before, but Pep did it at a high level with so much success that now it's all of these things have become normal. People, coaches around the world want to. It's the most basic thing. You go to any coach, how do you want? Oh, I want to build up from the back. I want to play like this, and he's changed the mindset in football, the base setting, and I think that's the biggest legacy that anyone can have. I think when the way people look at Arrigo Sacchi, the way people look at Johan Cruyff, I think 20, 30 years later, people are going to look back at Pep Guardiola the same way. Um, and I think, like the World Cup win confirmed Messi as the best. I know a lot of people still already thought he was the best, but it confirmed that he was the best of all time for some. I think this win also confirms City as the best team in Europe for the past 5, 6 years, because whenever I used to tell people, oh, this is the best team in Europe, for the past 5, 6 years because of how they played and the domination they had, they would always bring up, oh no, but they've not won the Champions League. And well, now they have. So we can confirm that as well. Even if both these things, Messi winning and them winning, were just formalities. Do you, I know social media there was like United fans were obviously out in their numbers before they won, before City won. And they were, saying that, we won the treble in 1999 and we did it without the financial breaches and everything. Um, and let's come on to the money and the financial resources and everything. What do you think? Can you play devil's advocate? People say that like City have all the money in the world, Pep has had all the money in the world. This was just inevitable that they would, after I don't know, 10 to 12 years of the Abu Dhabi project or something, they finally won the Champions League. It was bound to happen anyway. And after like 6 tries, Pep has finally done it.
Look, you've got the best coach arguably in the world working at a football club, and then you have a treasure chest of funds and money. So logically, you would
And you have the
imagine
best footballing operation as well. So you know how to spend the money.
you know how to spend. You've got a great recruitment team. You've got almost unlimited money to work with. You've got a genius of a coach. So is it a surprise that it has come to this? No, the surprise is actually that it's taken this long actually for City and for Pep to win another Champions League trophy. That's what I would say. And in terms of the financial fair play breaches, I think it lingers above City like this dark cloud, and I think it's there. I think people will always have that to bring up unless they're cleared off all the charges, which I hope there's a conclusion to that soon. Um, but having said that, what is football? It's about memories, emotion, moments, the fans going nuts in the stands and at the parade. And I think City fans, real City fans living in England, especially, they probably couldn't care less because they've probably been partying for 4 or 5 days, and probably Grealish is probably still partying as we
Yeah,
speak
yeah. Kyle Walker. There's a picture Kyle Walker's assisting him onto the onto the
onto the
plane.
plane, right? So I think those memories, those experiences, those moments, that emotion, you can't replace that. You can't take that away from them, I should say. Um, but yeah, no surprise they've come to this point. And like I said, I hope these charges are sorted soon and cleared soon, whether it be in favor of them or not. That's yet to see. But yeah, that's my take on
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I think I would slightly like differ. I would feel like obviously they've got all the money in the world and everything. They've got the best football operation in the world. But I feel like this level of domination is not normal, regardless of how much money you have, because United have spent more money than City. PSG keeps spending money like crazy. They bring in everyone and their grandma and whoever, they just keep bringing everyone in. All the marquee players in the world, they got Messi and everyone. But no one has dominated as much as City have over the last 5 6 years. So and even if you say, okay, so Mancini, Pellegrini, they had the same amount of money, right? It's not like the Abu Dhabi group found a new oil well or something. It's the same amount of money. They but before Pep, the domination was not like this. City won the Premier League twice, but whenever they won it, in the next season there was a drop off. They won it once with 89 points, then next season they got 78, then they won with 87, the next season they also got 78 or something. They never won it back to back. And the hardest thing, as you know, KK, as a coach, is to, once you win something, is to go again the next year. And that's, under Pep, they've won 5 titles in 6 years, which is crazy because they've gone again and again and again. And it's 100 points. Then the next season they got 98, and Liverpool was with 97, and they still managed to beat them with 1 point. Then Liverpool won the next season. Then they came back again and won now like 3 Premier Leagues in a row. And
Yeah.
and and and
Don't get me
before
wrong.
Pep,
I think,
yeah, before Pep, they never crossed 90 points. Now
yeah.
every season they cross 90 points, right?
No,
Before Pep,
it's
they never got to a Champions League final. Now they've got, let alone win the Champions League. Now, yeah, they've won it.
right. No, it's amazing. It's amazing. But I think going back to what you said is that it's the Gary Neville talks about this a lot as well on his rants about United, that trying to get the best in class in football operations, the best in class in terms of the manager and the coach. Um, and I think what you made a good point is that City have got the best operators working at that football club, from the CEO to the manager, to the recruitment staff, to the facilities. So it is all credit to them, the way they've done it, the way they've set it up, and for a coach to, like you said, motivate a player to go again and again and again is unprecedented. Will we see this domination again? I highly doubt it, to be honest with you. 5 titles in 6 years is just remarkable.
And not not
It's,
not in like a league where there's no competition. They had, I think people say this Liverpool team is up there with the best Liverpool teams ever, right?
yeah,
That have come in the past. To go like, yeah, so it's not like they just had a walk in the park and they're still getting 98 points,
yes.
99 points.
Agreed. And I think money doesn't guarantee success, as we've seen with Chelsea. It does not. But having said that, look, it is a luxury, obviously, for Pep to have the freedom to say, look, I don't like this goalie. I think that Claudio Bravo was there at one point, and then go and spend big on Edison. I don't really fancy these fullbacks. Boom, let's go get the best fullback at the time, Kyle Walker, in the league. Let's go replace our left back. So, and Haaland is another example where you can just go into the market and literally get arguably like the best player in the world at this moment in time. So there's funds available, there's a genius coach at the wheel, and there's an incredible uh, backroom staff kind of running the ship. So, yeah, credit to them, hats off to them. I think some people say that it's all money and look at how much money they've spent. But like you said, Chelsea have tried, PSG have tried, other
United.
Manchester United have spent so much money on players, and it hasn't worked out. So I think you've got to get all the cogs in the machine functioning at full throttle
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get this level of success.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is a debate that's gonna keep raging on, and I don't think we're gonna stop it anytime soon. Yeah, I think Pep's fans are gonna keep saying that it's all because of him, and people who hate Pep and City and don't like what they're winning and what they're doing will have something else to say. But man, it's been great having you here and chatting about the Champions League final. Unfortunately for us Liverpool fans, City have won the treble and City have won the Champions League as well. um, Maybe we can do it next year. This has been Pressing Matters. Add on the mic. Do follow, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on social media, and until next time, take it easy.